Let's start our UIO mod using our own mod template. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. I had done some things behind the scene on our template and I want to talk about them. If I go into to-dos because I marked them as to-do, we will see that in the main class, I marked 3 places as to-do. The first thing is that I updated my build.gradle. What did happen in build.gradle is that first of all, I updated my Fabric version. So we are now working on 120.4 with loader 15.6 and Fabric version of 96. Next, you see that we have tons of dependencies now. You won't use all of these dependencies in every project, but in my opinion, it's easier to comment these dependency lines instead of going and searching for all mavens and dependencies one after another. Although when it comes to using them, I will tell you how to find each one of them one after another, because later you have to change these versions yourself as you go forward in your projects. The only one that is commented right now is libgui, because libgui is using a limitation on the maximum numbers of versioning, and it's already working on 20.2, but for 20.4, the versions exceed that limit so that you can't run libgui right now. I opened an issue on GitHub about libgui, but the last time I checked, there was no answers. The moment we get an answer or an update, then of course this version will be updated and everything will be sent to GitHub so that you will see what is the latest version of my mod temp, so you can use that. Okay, so we have all these dependencies commented, and we will talk about them during these video tutorials one after another. However, that's the first change, okay? Dependencies and the updated versions of Gradle for Fabric. The next one is this one on top. So I added a public static Boolean debug, and it's true by default. How am I using it is in my reference, because in reference there is another to do, and that's this region that I added, all for logging. Now, if you come and take a look at my data gen, you will notice that as I'm scrolling down, nothing is showing up, because the last time I used data gen, I turned that debug off. However, now the debug is true. Let's run the data gen and see the difference now. When I scroll down now, you will notice that I get these messages from my mod. However, comparing to the other messages that the system is logging, you see that my messages have different color and sometimes different background colors. And this is how my new logging system is working. And actually, you see that for DataGen, I still have different colorings. This helps to identify your own messages during the game run or DataGen. How is it achieved? Is by using these ANSI character codes. These are for coloring the foreground, okay? So I have few different method calls, and those are statics, by the way. The log is just using a magenta color, and then the characters and the message, and then resetting the ANSI to the default color. Log n will not use magenta or the reset, so it's just normal logging. And then I have two RGB 256. And RGB 256 is about sending a message with custom RGB colors. That is where I'm using it for these messages that are printing in green. Log back RGB 256 is the one that I'm using for the generating data and initializing messages. They are using colors for foreground and colors for background. And you see how it's being achieved by using some codes here and here. So that's what I added here. And how am I using it is just like this. I put a static import, call the message, a logging method, then the message, then the colors, and that's it. And I did lower the color on these hints because some people tend to type it, but when the color is like this, it is a better indication that, hey, this is not part of the code that you need to type. This is something that the IntelliSense is showing you as message colon, RF colon, GF colon, and etc. It's just an indication of how parameter names are defined and what parameter is what. And I will upload my settings for you so that if you want to have the settings, you can. And for the plugins, there is a video already on the YouTube showing what plugins I installed and what font I installed, how did I configure my IntelliJ so that it looks like this, okay? Now the rest is just some methods and classes being added and moved around. The first one is this method, mod register.register. They are being used for fuel, for compostable commands, events, potion recipes, custom trades, strippables, flamables, attributes, oxidizables, and custom portals. These are just bunch of things that you can register in different mods based on what you need. For example, if you want custom trades for your villagers, then you add them there, okay? Or custom commands or custom events. Now, the only thing that is being added in fuels is just the fuel registry instance. Others, as you can see, are just logging these messages. So registering events, commands, potions, custom trades, etc. So that's one extra class that is added in this reference. The other one is that you notice that I moved my word generation package from the datagen. Not all of it, but part of it. So you have a word there that is configured features or placement and place features. The rest that was the word generation and or generation are now inside the reference because they are not producing data for JSON datagen. They are producing some registries for the game at runtime. And whenever we are producing something for registry at runtime, we are putting them on the references. So that's exactly where I moved them. And if I go down here, you'll notice that some extra classes are being added. First of all, I need to move this origin below the geode generation. Okay, that's how vanilla is working, and that is how I want to follow vanilla. Now, again, all of these are just empty classes that throws assertion on the constructors and just logging these generate for time being because, well, they are empty and all of them are the same. Basically, whenever you want to add something in word generation at runtime, for example, generating some trees or generation, or if you want to spawn some flowers around the world or some entities in the game, this is where you will add them later in the game, okay? And in your modding. Now that's that to do. The one in mod messages. If you remember, we said that we have networking and we had this method and we left it empty. Now I added some code here and I want to walk you through this code, but it will be confusing for time being. So I will keep that to do and I will change it to talk about networks sending messages, okay? So that when we are talking about network, we will come back and talk about these few lines of code. Basically, what I'm doing here is that I'm sending some data with a message to players to the client, okay? So we will talk about this, don't worry. When we talk about networks, we will talk about it. Now, under utils, I added 3 classes and I will talk about them later when I'm modding my mod, and I will walk you through each one of them line by line. So again, talk about code. This is the new to do. So don't worry, there are just helper methods that you can, use to, for example, check if the mouse is in a boundary, or this is for drawing the energy on a UI. This is about the inventories and some helper methods for the inventories. We'll talk about them later. Now, on the references, we said talk about networking. That's done. Okay, I added two classes under compatibility, one for REI and one for Jade. Now, if you know Wyla, Jade is equivalent of Wyla for Fabric. It shows extra info. And for making your mod and blocks compatible with it, and if you especially want to show extra information, you have to have a compatibility plugin, and you have to register some data and providers and stuff like that. So it's a boilerplate that you will have for the Jade. And for REI, again, you have a plugin that you need to register categories, displays, and screens to show your recipes in REI. And again, the plugin is a boilerplate, but later per mod and per block, you will have to come back and put these things in place. So these are the boilerplates you need for almost every mod again. Other than these, there is no more changes around this temp mod that I done behind the scenes. Okay, now I will upload it to GitHub when I stop the video because I don't want to waste time on this in front of the camera. However, I talked about UIO in previous videos, and we started even about brainstorming. I will have another video about brainstorming down the road, but I used the normal temp generator from Fabric's website and generated the UIO. Why did I use that? Because, well, it helps to, put some properties properly here and there, naming the packages for the main class. And if you notice, my main class right now is called this Ultra IO data generator, because as I said, I use the provided temp generator from Fabric itself. Before I open this project inside IntelliJ, however, I done one thing. Under resources, you notice that I have data. Normally, you don't have data. Under assets, again, I have Minecraft. Under UIO, I have textures and I have language, models, block states. All of these are coming from the mod temp here. So what I did is that I gone into the folder of this project, of my mod temp project, and copied the folder structure. So I copied the data into the resources and then copied the Minecraft. Of course, it was empty. Then I moved one down and went into UIO, and I copied these four folders inside here. And by doing that, I have all these subfolders copied with it, with the GUI content. If I go into textures and GUI, you notice that all those GUI content that we talked about are here now. Now, this is one thing that I may add as I go forward, as time passes, under the GUI, because in the temp mod, by the way, because that's a boilerplate again for when you go and use lib GUI down the road. Okay, now how can I move these classes on top into here? The worst thing that you can do is to just copy the folders and copy them under source main Java and your mod ID here in the browser. That's a very bad practice because the package names will be different and you will have to go and do refactoring time and time again. The best way is to now open this project inside IDEA as a new project and let the IDEA do its thing. And first, the Gradle will work and it will build the project. It will download the dependencies, everything that works as a normal opening new project. Let it do its thing. And when it's finished and when it's ready, then you can move forward. So I will pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, now the easiest way to continue forward is to split the screen and show these two projects side by side in Windows 11. That's easy, just like that. Now, we have to do some things. First of all, build.gradle. Now, build.gradle needs to use these. All the Maven repositories, I will just copy them and put them on the repositories, just like that. And after repositories, I will remove all these comments on dependencies. Pay attention what you're dealing with. Fabric API, and I will move that on top and then delete these. Then the dependencies section under the implementation of the Fabric API. Here starts our own dependency. And I will paste them just like that. And that's our build.gradle. Now, the next one is the Gradle properties. I will have this dependencies section. And by the way, I have to pay attention because this is Fabric properties. And I will move these things. Actually, that's there. So Control X that, paste it here. And just pay attention that the versionings are the ones that I want. And I just noticed that now loader is version 7. So I will fix that there on my temp mod. Again, this is 96.3. I will fix that. And that's it. Okay. So my mod version, I will move that down. And by the way, I will cut it up there. This is mod properties. Now, before refreshing and resyncing the Gradle project, I can start tweaking these things from my project. The first one is the Fabric mod JSON, because we have some entries here, and that is what I had to add for JEI and for Jade and REI, and the client, by the way, that we don't have. So I will add them here. And yes, they are not there, but things need to change because temp mod is not there anymore. And these things are now called main and datagen, okay? And datagen, like so. Now that I have them, I can come back and I can just do refactoring and renaming and call it main and the datagen. And by the way, this needs to be datagen. So datagen. And now I can move my client. And by the way, we don't have anything to do with resources anymore. The client, I will select it on my temp, hit Control C, come back inside my other project, UIO, Control V, and you see that it says client, but the name of the package is changed. So the package is now working. Imports, well, they are wrong. So UIO and UIO. Why did I not fix the namespaces? Because as you see, my reference is not there. Mod messages and lots of things are not there yet. So what I can do now, I will choose one folder, copy, paste. And it says you see that it says to directory. Okay, that was an empty one. Copy, paste. Now this is an empty one. Again, the next one is an empty one. So we don't have issues there, but Compat has classes. Paste. And let's see if it fixed the, yep. As you see that the package up there is fixed. The package is fixed, but of course, we don't have Voila plugin because we didn't sync our project yet. So datagen, copy, pay attention. You shouldn't be indexing down below in your project. If it says it's indexing, then you should stop and wait so that the indexing is fixed and then paste the new folder. Again, the packaging is correct. Now effect, enchanting, entity, event, fluid, items. These are the empty ones. So I will copy all of them, paste them, get done with them. Mixins, we don't have mixins here. Okay, Control C, Control V, okay. Networking, Control C, Control V, okay. These are empty ones. So Control C, Control V, okay. References, Control C, Control V, okay. and wait for a few seconds. Make sure that the packaging is okay. Screens, again, empty. Sound is empty. Control C, Control V. Okay. Utils, Control C. And pay attention every time I want to paste, I choose this UIO on top. So paste. And the last one is Word, Control C, Control V, and that's it. Okay. So now I have everything in place. Hopefully, I shouldn't have any errors anywhere. Now I will close all the tabs and open my project. As you see, the errors are gone here. And I will double check that I have main datagen client Jade REI. Now, do I need to change anything else before going forward? I think not. I think it's all that we had to do. So let's resync our Gradle. Let the Gradle build the project. I will come back when it's finished. Okay, as you see, it took 2 minutes for me, and now it's indexing libraries, blah, blah. That's okay. But when I go back to my compatibility REI, there is no errors in the Jade. Again, there is no errors. Okay, I should be able to run my client. If you don't see these three client datagen server on top, that's okay. You can open up the Gradle tab, go under tasks, fabric, and run the client once. When the client came up, close it, close the project, reopen your project, and these three tasks should be on top. If they are there and for whatever reason they are not working, just do this, edit and delete all three of them using this minus tab. And then after that, again, run this run client task and let them regenerate. So let's see if it works. Okay, as you see, I have one tiny issue here. And one of these didn't came in correctly. That's okay. I will correct the reference there and I will run the client again. This can happen every now and then. There shouldn't be too many, but each time it shows you, you just fix the thing. And by the way, the main, yes, because the package here should says UIO. What's wrong with you now? Main debug. Oh, I forgot. In my main, I had some changes, didn't I? And I completely forgot to replace my main with the correct one. So we have the debug here. We don't have the debugger there. And we have this for our custom flat world. And then the whole main body is changed, and that's our main body. Control C, enter, enter, and then move your mouse. If it says can't resolve, let's see. Make sure that this one is under UIO package. Yes, then why can't you resolve that on main? Again, I'm closing just some classes so that I can focus there. There we go. Import static, and that's it. So that's our main. That was the only thing I forgot, I think. Again, some statics are not coming in because of these package names, and that's it. You see, temp mod becomes UIO. Of course, I could search and replace in all the files for temp mod to UIO, but that's something that I don't want to do. And honestly, it's more than few, but again, it's much easier to just copy paste this way because some of the files are fixing themselves. So let's keep that in that way. One thing that you should get used to in modding is that every now and then you have to do these tedious, bizarre jobs of fixing something dirty because first of all, every now and then the API changes itself. So when you upgrade your Minecraft version and you want to publish your mod for a new Minecraft version, some things has changed, some API calls has changed. And what you have to do is to go back and change the names as the API had changed. So get used to this repetitive jobs being done on Minecraft modding. Minecraft modding is not as straightforward as your normal standard programming experience, okay? Because you're using an API, a third-party API, and this API can change every now and then in some meaningful ways and sometimes in a stupid way. So you may not agree with what the API has changed to, but you have to deal with it. So yes, I could have used a copy paste and replace approach, but honestly, I prefer to go and check them one by one and see what is going on, because maybe there will be an issue somewhere I didn't foreseen happening, you know. And when I'm taking a look at this list, I already understood what is going on. Take note, most of them are happening on the reference folder. The reason for that is that it starts importing these one after another, and it already didn't have this reference file. Okay. So yeah, it will be a problem when you are importing some methods without having a correct reference to replace the namespace for that. I think that was the case, but I'm not sure, because now I see mod screen handlers, and that is again a reference, entity spawns, and this is flower generation. It looks everything on the reference didn't come in correctly. Now the game is run. Okay, so we already fixed all of them. And by understanding this, it looks like I may want to tweak something here on my temp. And that is to get this reference class outside of this folder. Now, where to put it? If I put it under utils, based on my workflow, I will copy paste from top to bottom. And again, when I get into references, I didn't copy the reference file again. So I will take it out and put it directly under temp mod and outside, just like client data can name here. Enable the narrator. And Minecraft, by the way, is up and running and yelled at me about narrator. Narrator. Okay, so continue. And let's see. 20. Yeah, actually, this should be okay. Music off. Okay, done. Quit the game. So now I'm sure that my stuff is working and my project is ready. And I put this reference out. So I want to be consistent between my temp mods and every mod out there. So I will take this and move it out under my UIO and do refactor. Okay. So now that I'm sure that my client is working, it's a very good time to run these gen sources. Now, most people tell you to come into the terminal, type Gradle W, blah, blah, blah. Why? We have this task. We can run it directly from here, and it will generate the sources for us. So those people didn't even take a look correctly under your Gradle tab. It will take some time. I will come back when it's finished. Okay, now that the sources are being generated, I need anything that is from Minecraft itself or Fabric API. So I will middle mouse click on top, and take note, it's not yelling about changing a resource, so that's not helpful. Let's see if I can do this on here. Again, the source is correct, and by the way, the Java doc is there. So how about if on my client, for example, I will say mod blocks, and I will middle mouse button there, not mod blocks, sorry, blocks from net Minecraft. Middle mouse button there, accept. And then I want, here we go. Now it says choose your sources. I choose the sources and select the one with dash sources, hit OK, it imports them. Now I close that, I remove this blocks section, and by the way, if I save the file, it would, I hopefully it would, it didn't. It should clean the whole file for me. Looks like my settings are not working correctly now. Okay, so again, that's it. So now we have our project ready to roll for future. In next episodes, we will start with adding our own items, blocks, and everything. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.